Inside the city of Rome, surrounded entirely by Italy, there is a country so small you could walk across it in minutes. It has no farmland, no major highways, no separate capital city beyond itself, and a population smaller than many apartment buildings. Yet this tiny state has its own government, its own diplomacy, its own passports, its own stamps, and a global influence far larger than its physical size. This is Vatican City, officially Vatican City State, the smallest sovereign state in the world by both area and population. But Vatican City is not simply a miniature country. It is the territorial base of the Pope, the administrative center of the Catholic Church, and the visible home of an institution that has shaped world history for nearly 2,000 years. Vatican City covers about 44 hectares, or 109 acres. To put that in perspective, it is smaller than many university campuses, large city parks, or major sports complexes. Its population is about 882 people in 2024, making it the only country in the world with fewer than 1,000 residents. But population statistics can be misleading here. Vatican City is not organized like an ordinary nation built around families, neighborhoods, and a civilian economy. Many of its residents are clergy, members of religious communities, guards, officials, and staff connected to the work of the Holy See. Its purpose is not to function as a typical society, but to protect the independence of the papacy and provide a sovereign base for the Catholic Church's central administration. The Vatican is an enclave, meaning it is completely surrounded by another state. In this case, the surrounding country is Italy, and the surrounding city is Rome. This makes Vatican City geographically unusual but historically logical. Rome has been central to the Catholic Church because the Pope is the Bishop of Rome. The Pope's authority is religious, but for centuries popes also held political power over territories in central Italy known as the Papal States. These lands existed from the 8th century until the 19th century, and at their height they covered a significant part of the Italian peninsula. Vatican City today is not simply a leftover piece of those old territories, but its story cannot be understood without them. For more than 1,000 years, the popes were not only spiritual leaders but also temporal rulers. The Papal States gave them land, revenue, armies, courts, and political authority. This was seen by the papacy as a way to maintain independence from kings and emperors. If the Pope depended entirely on another ruler's territory, that ruler might pressure or control the Church. But in the 19th century, Italian unification changed everything. The Kingdom of Italy absorbed the Papal States, and in 1870 Rome itself was taken. The Pope lost his broad territorial rule, and a long political conflict began between the papacy and the Italian state. For decades, popes considered themselves confined within the Vatican rather than fully reconciled with Italy. The modern state of Vatican City was created in 1929 through the Lateran Treaty, an agreement between the Holy See and the Kingdom of Italy. The treaty settled the so-called Roman question: how could the Pope be independent after losing the Papal States, while Rome remained the capital of Italy? The solution was not to restore the old papal territories. Instead, a new sovereign state was created, Vatican City. Its territory was tiny, but its legal significance was enormous. It gave the Pope a clearly recognized, independent space from which to exercise authority without being subject to Italian political control. The treaty also recognized the sovereignty of the Holy See in international law. One of the most important distinctions in understanding the Vatican is the difference between Vatican City and the Holy See. Vatican City is the physical state, the territory, buildings, borders, and governing structures inside Rome. The Holy See is the central governing authority of the Catholic Church, made up of the Pope and the Roman Curia. The Holy See is older than Vatican City by many centuries and is treated as a sovereign entity under international law. It conducts diplomacy, signs agreements, and maintains relations with states around the world. So when people say the Vatican made a diplomatic statement, they often mean the Holy See, not simply the city-state's local government. Vatican City is a rare form of state, an ecclesiastical or sacerdotal monarchical state. That means its ruler is a religious leader, the Pope, who is also the Bishop of Rome and head of the Catholic Church. The highest state functionaries are Catholic clergy from different countries, reflecting the global nature of the Church rather than a normal national political class. There are no nationwide party elections like in a parliamentary democracy, and citizenship is not based mainly on birth inside the territory. Instead, Vatican citizenship is usually connected to service or office. The country's political structure exists to support a religious and diplomatic mission, not to represent a large resident population. The Catholic Church itself is vast compared with the state that administers its central offices. In 2018, there were about 1.329 billion baptized Catholics worldwide, spread across the Latin Church and 23 Eastern Catholic churches. That means a city-state with fewer than 1,000 residents is linked to a religious community of more than a billion people. This contrast explains why Vatican City often feels larger than it is. Its territory is small, but it is the headquarters of a global spiritual network. Decisions, documents, appointments, and ceremonies connected to the Vatican can matter to Catholic communities across every continent, from major cathedrals to remote parishes. The Pope's residence also helps explain the Vatican's symbolic weight. Since the end of the Avignon papacy in the 14th century, popes have mainly resided in Rome, especially in the Apostolic Palace within what is now Vatican City. The Avignon period, when popes resided in southern France from 1309 to 1377, left a deep mark on church history because it raised questions about political influence and papal independence. The return to Rome reinforced the city's religious centrality. Although popes have at times lived elsewhere, including the Quirinal Palace in Rome, the Vatican became the enduring center of papal presence, ceremony, administration, and public imagination. Vatican City is also one of the world's greatest concentrations of religious art and cultural heritage. St. Peter's Basilica stands as one of Christianity's most important churches, built over the traditional burial site of St. Peter. The Sistine Chapel is famous not only as the site of papal conclaves, where new popes are elected, but also for Michelangelo's ceiling frescoes and the Last Judgment. The Vatican Museums hold vast collections of paintings, sculptures, manuscripts, maps, and ancient artifacts gathered across centuries. The Vatican Apostolic Library is one of the world's great research libraries. These sites make the country both a place of worship and a cultural archive. The Vatican's economy is unusual because it does not operate like that of a standard country. It has no broad tax system on citizens in the way most states do. Its finances are supported through several sources: donations from Catholic believers around the world, museum admission fees, the sale of postage stamps, souvenirs, publications, and other related activities. Vatican items are duty-free, and its stamps and coins are especially popular with collectors. Tourism plays a major role, because millions of visitors come to see St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican Museums, and the Sistine Chapel. In a very small territory, culture, faith, administration, and economic survival are closely connected. So Vatican City is more than a geographical curiosity. It is a carefully designed solution to a historical problem: how to preserve the independence of the Pope after the loss of the Papal States. It is a sovereign country, yet it exists mainly to serve the Holy See. It is tiny in area, but connected to a worldwide religious community. It has fewer than 1,000 residents, but hosts some of the most famous sacred and artistic spaces on Earth. Its borders fit inside Rome, but its influence reaches far beyond Italy. Vatican City proves that power is not always measured in land, population, or natural resources. Sometimes, it is measured in symbols, institutions, history, and faith. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.